This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. In a devastating turn of events, the Premier today announced Vanessa Goodwin has now been diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer and is not expected to recover. All sides of politics deeply affected by the news delivered to Parliament this afternoon. Our reporter Louise Hedger filed this report a short time ago.
It's a heartbreaking time for all those who know Tasmania's Attorney-General. It's understood Vanessa Goodwin's doctors have advised that she has an aggressive form of cancer and is not expected to recover. Will Hodgman was visibly shocked and distressed as he read a statement from her family in Parliament this afternoon.
The news from her doctors was not what we wanted to hear, far from it. I have the most unpleasant duty to convey this news now. And I, along with Vanessa's family, do so knowing how many people in our community and in this Parliament care for her.
The Premier, a lifelong friend and colleague of Ms Goodwin, couldn't contain his devastation as he made the announcement.
Vanessa is one of the most intelligent, committed, kind-hearted, loyal people I've ever known. And she's one of my greatest supports and has been for many years.
All receiving the news were emotional, and both Houses of Parliament were adjourned shortly after hearing the news of Ms Goodwin's prognosis.
I must admit this is an extraordinarily difficult circumstance, and to find out the news just a short while ago, I must say has rocked me.
We are heartbroken that this has happened to someone so talented, so respected, so caring and so loved.
Ms Goodwin is 47 and was hospitalised 2 weeks ago after becoming extremely ill. The state's opposition leaders, Rebecca White and Cassie O'Connor, have expressed their well wishes and support.
Education groups are stepping up their fight to ensure Tasmania receives its full Gonski funding from the federal government. Parents, teachers and the Education Union lobbying outside Parliament House this afternoon, calling on Premier Will Hodgman to join the stand.
Now, Mr Hodgman says that he wants to lead the nation in education. Well, we want to see him lead the fight to get the $100 million on the table for Tasmanian schools.
The federal government has indicated it will roll out a new Gonski funding model from next year, a move the union says will cost the state. The Tasmanian government has previously said it's fighting the change. Council amalgamation talks are back on the table. West Tamar and Georgetown considering a merge to become the Tamar Valley Council. But Launceston is not included in the proposal, leaving the city's mayor disappointed.
Christina Holmdale and Bridget Archer joining forces, taking the first step towards amalgamation.
I think it's important to recognise what's best for your communities.
Currently, around 23,000 people live in the West Tamar, while 7,000 live in the Georgetown Council area. The two mayors believe merging municipalities could benefit both sides of the river.
I guess the biggest advantage of that comes into an economies of scale argument.
Georgetown saw the possibilities of incorporating some of the practices that West Tamar has that because of the size of their municipality they're prevented from doing. And so they really would like for those good things that we do to be a part of their operation.
The councils will now write to Local Government Minister Peter Goodwin asking for a pre-feasibility study to be prepared. Launceston's mayor says it's positive talks are happening, but he's disappointed the City Council hasn't been included.
If it's not about mergers with Launceston, then we need to be talking boundary adjustments and looking at parts of the Riverside, for example, which really should belong to the city.
We believe that the synergies between our two councils will work better than being incorporated into the bigger council.
West Tamar and Georgetown ratepayers are yet to be consulted. The mayors say that will be one of the next steps. If a merger is found to be the best way forward, it's hoped a Tamar Valley Council could be formed by the October 2018 local government election. The state government welcomes the discussion, reiterating it will not force amalgamations. Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
Concerns surrounding Tasmania's health system dominated question time again today, with the opposition leader not letting up on questioning the government about what it's doing to fix what she claims is a system in crisis. Rebecca White announced she will start a tour of the state tomorrow and will be holding talks with staff and patients over the next month.
We'll be travelling right around all of our major hospitals and indeed regional centres as well to listen to patients, to talk with staff and to understand exactly what's happening right across the health system and work constructively with them to find solutions to the crisis in our health system.
Ms White says the government is ignoring expert advice and patient concerns, but the government remains adamant it's doing what it can. Tasmanian war veterans are speaking out, saying some can't access the health services they require. Federal Labor hosting forums across the state, hearing a range of issues veterans believe need to be addressed.
A lot of veterans here in Tasmania have to travel to Melbourne. This has been something that's been raised, and often that travel can be quite extensive and hard, especially if you've got quite significant health problems.
The Labor Party says it will now raise the concerns in Canberra to try and get better support for veterans. Tasmania Police has charged a 37-year-old Granton man with dangerous driving causing grievous bodily harm after he allegedly drove his vehicle into the path of a motorbike driven by two youths. The incident happened last night in Claremont and police believe the motorbike was stolen from the man's property. Police are also investigating a suspicious house fire at the same address and aren't sure if the incidents are linked. $500,000 in damage was caused to the property. Anyone with information is urged to come forward. The country's best supercar drivers have taken to the skies, trying their hand at a different type of adventure sport. Penny Royal played host to the high-flying feature, a welcome break ahead of this weekend's fiery round of the Supercars Championship.
He hits top speeds of 250 kilometres per hour on the racetrack, but believe it or not, young gun Scott Pye feels more comfortable behind the wheel than on a zip line.
V8s for sure.
A fun start to a serious round two in the Supercars Championship. In his new home at Mobile 1 HSV, Pye wants to find his feet at Symmons Plains.
Starting to feel really comfortable in this car now and think that it's time now to start maximising the package.
He could get a few hints from Will Davison. The Holden hero handed a spectacular win last year.
Oh, big trouble down here at turn 4.
When an oil spill ruled out race leaders in the final few laps.
Nothing but great memories from this event last year, winning my first ever race with Techno.
Davison says the track's shorter length suits his style.
It's a really enjoyable one. It's 6 very, very tricky corners, throws up some crazy variables. Obviously you need horsepower up and down those long straights. You need a really good braking balance.
Todd Kelly felt the need for speed on the zip line.
Oh mate, he's coming in hot. Too quick.
The 37-year-old last tasted a Tassie win in 2008.
Battle. Look at those 3 cars. Unbelievable.
He says this season is shaping up to be his best since switching from Holden to Nissan in 2013.
It's one of those places that the whole field's really spread over only a number of tenths of a second.
Practice sessions are being held tomorrow, with the main races on Saturday and Sunday. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
An exhibition exploring the state's scientific and cultural history will open at the Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery tomorrow. The Art of Science features original pieces from Nicolas Baudin, his voyage to Australia more than 200 years ago. It's the first time the works have been shown outside of France.
The illustrations that the French made and also the detailed notes they made now inform a lot of the cultural revival that's happening with Tasmanian Aborigines today.
It also features animals and plants discovered on the south-east coast. The national tour will continue in Tasmania until July. Tasmania's youth is leading the charge in mental health education, holding a special workshop to discuss the issue. Mental health advocate Zach Lockhart is among the guest speakers, sharing his experiences with depression and anxiety after sleeping rough as an adolescent.
Go outside in the sun, we wear sunscreen and we prevent the sun from causing us skin cancer. But what do we do to protect our own mental health in our everyday lives? And that's really important.
Students will present their findings in front of school assemblies. 50 students attended the workshop. Looking at the day's business and finance news now, with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. Falls by the major banks, energy producers and miners have dragged the share market lower. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 19.9 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 75.45 US cents and 108.12 New Zealand cents.
It's Tasmanian cricket's night of nights. The Ricky Ponting medal count getting underway shortly. And sports reporter Chris Rowbottom is at Blunston Arena and he is joined by outgoing Cricket Tasmania CEO David Johnston.
Yeah, I certainly am, Rick. David, thanks for joining us here. Your last Ricky Ponting medal as CEO. How are you feeling?
Oh, very excited. These nights are always terrific. Obviously, there'll be some nostalgia tonight and probably a bit of emotion as well. But I'm excited to have a great night.
You finish up later this month before handing the reins to Nick Cummins. How do you think you're leaving the state of cricket in Tasmania?
Well, I think it's got a great future. We're in relation to participation and what we've done at the ground, we're in a really good position. We're really looking at the whole high performance structure. So I think we've been in this position before and we've recovered very well. So I think that we've got a lot of talented young players and I think we'll continue to work with that.
The great man himself is in town. Ricky Ponting will be attending the function tonight. It must be great to have him here this evening.
Oh, it just adds another aspect to the whole event. This is the first time he's been able to attend because of all other commitments he's got. And this will really, I think the people here will really appreciate it and it will just add that extra little bit to the evening.
It is Tasmanian cricket's night of nights. It would be remiss of me not to get a tip from you. So who takes home the big honour tonight?
Oh, I think it probably could be between two. It could be between George Bailey, who's had a terrific season, and Simon Malenko, who's also had a very consistent season for his first one in. But being a player voted, sometimes there's some surprises and anything can happen.
David, thanks for joining us. Enjoy tonight, your last ever Ricky Ponting medal as CEO. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Well, there you have it, Rick. Simon Malenko or George Bailey could be taking home the medal tonight, according to David Johnston, or will be revealed in just a few hours. We'll have the full results for you tomorrow night in sport, but for now, it's back to you.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Chris Rowbottom joining us there at Blunston Arena. Devonport will be without playing coach Mitch Thorpe for 4 weeks. Thorpe was crunched in the Pies season-opening TSL clash against Launceston on Saturday. His diagnosis, though, could have been a whole lot worse.
Thorpe was smashed in this contest on Saturday. It was feared he'd damaged his kidney. The actual diagnosis, though, is relatively good.
Yeah, I got a couple of fractured ribs, so I'll need to look after them for a couple of weeks before I come back to play.
The Devonport playing coach still likely to miss a month of footy.
Just got to look after it and not try and push it too hard too early, but yeah, hopefully early next week I can start running again.
It makes Devonport's trip to Glenorchy that much tougher this weekend. The reigning premiers are coming off a 98-point round 1 win over Hobart City Demons following a blistering second half.
For us, it was only 2 quarters of footy and we didn't put a 4-quarter performance together, and it's something we've been speaking about. So
it doesn't get any easier for Kane Richter's Chargers. They meet North Launceston this week. The coach says it's a valuable learning curve.
And our boys are being shown what it takes to win a game of footy at that level.
Richter making special mention of Bombers tall Bart McCulloch.
Interesting to see where he's at mindset-wise. After a year off last year, and hearing what he said during the week about our boys, so yeah, we'll take it up to him this week.
While on Sunday, Clarence will step onto Blunston Arena for the first time since last season. Cricket and AFL fixtures hampering their preparations.
The seasons are getting extended, and obviously AFL is down here a lot earlier. Look, it's a pain, but you've got to deal with it. That's just the harsh reality.
They'll take on Tigers, who are looking to prove last week's first-up win over Burnie was no fluke.
we're not going to be too worried if we lose. But as long as we're competitive, that's our main focus.
Chris Rowbottom, Southern Cross News.
Round 4 of the Tasmania Netball League gets underway this weekend. Karana taking on Arrows in the match of the round. Arrows are reigning premiers and remain the team to beat in 2017.
I feel like we can do it again and it would be amazing. I feel like we're strong enough to do it for a third time.
Karana, though, is coming off an impressive win over the Northern Hawks and is full of confidence.
So I think that puts us in a good position to really contest against Arrows and meet with their physicality that we'll get tomorrow night.
Both teams will welcome back key players with the Tasmanian Magpies season wrapping up.
Well, last night we promised you a special weatherman for this evening, and we have that. He's behind the wheel of the 888 Race Engineering Team Vortex Holden tomorrow. Craig Lowndes, OAM. Welcome to the weather, Craig.
Yeah, thank you, Merv. It looks great to be back here in Tasmania. Looking forward to what you're about to present, so I know what I'm going to expect over the weekend.
Well, we know we can expect a few wins from you. 109 race wins so far, 9 of them at Symmons Plains. You'll be happy to add to that on the weekend?
Oh, look, definitely. I think this is a really special place. For me, it's got great fond memories, and really looking forward to the weekend. It's a small track, but it's a very technical circuit to get right.
Well, there's a special number here we need to talk about. It's number 42. Craig's 42 years old. I hope you don't mind me telling everyone, Craig. And he's heading for his 42nd pole this weekend. Pole's a good place to be at Symmons.
Well, it is, because it's such a short lap time. You really want to be at the front of the field. And, of course, we know that if you can get into that front, especially on that opening laps, and break that toe down that back straight, you're in for a good showing.
I know what you said wasn't English, but I can understand I know the fans out there will understand that. Let's see what the weather forecast is going to be, but first let's recap on today. Hobart today had a top of 25 degrees, 23 in Launceston, 22 the top for Burnie, and Devonport 21. 26 was the high at Campania and Friendly Beaches, Bushy Park 25, St Helens and Flinders Island 24, Grove 23, Wynyard 22, King Island and Lowhead 21 today, and Strawn 19. There is a frontal cloud band just to the east, and that's a patchy cloud up the east coast of Tasmania as well, and monsoon cloud is up over the top end, bothering everybody over the Northern Territory. Closer in, the low-level cloud streamed right over the northwest of the state today. Tomorrow we'll see that position move with that high pressure system moving off to the east and more cold fronts crossing Tasmania, which doesn't bode well. As far as the winds go, northerly winds tending 15 to 20 knots over the north and east, increasing to 30 knots about the west from late morning, swells to 3.5 metres. We have a strong wind warning from Tasman Island to Low Rocky Point, a small craft wind alert for the lakes. Into the forecast for tomorrow, and a sunny 26 in Hobart, same for Campania and Huonville. Now Friday in Launceston, sunny and 24 degrees, and Craig Lowndes has the Symmons Plains forecast.
Now, Symmons Plains forecast expect gusts of speeds to hit 270 kilometres an hour, and there's a big chance of a vortex striking twice in one day.
That's cryptic, but I know what you mean, Craig. Devonport and Georgetown fine tomorrow and 22 degrees. Up to Burnie, Strawn and Wynyard, all sunny and temps in the low 20s, and sunny along the east coast, warming up to 25 degrees. On to Saturday, and showers in the west and south, moving elsewhere in the afternoon, not hopefully over Symmons. Showers on Sunday contracting to the northeast by evening. Fine on Monday, apart from a shower over the west and south. Sunny for Adelaide, Melbourne and the Alice, a foggy start for Canberra, showers for Sydney, Brisbane and Cairns. And right now outside it's a terrific evening in Tasmania, and they're your current temperatures. And currently we're here with Craig Lowndes. Craig, good luck for the weekend.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to it.
Do you remember the grid girl from years ago? She used to gallivant around with all those beer logos on her.
Yeah, I think I do. I think her name was Joanne, wasn't it?
I think it was. And thanks for confirming that, Craig. Back to you, Joanne.
I'm going to get you sacked if it's the last thing I do, Peter Murphy. Thank you very much. That's all from the news team for now. Good night.